And good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My topic of discussion this evening is about saving AM 1220 WQUN, which is the local radio station run by Quinnipiac University. And with me to discuss this evening's topic is Holly Masi, who is one of the activists of the spearheading the charge of the organization. Holly, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming down.
I'm really excited about continuing to spread the word.
Well, before we get into what's going on with the station and what's going on, tell us a little bit about yourself. I understand that you're employed by the town of Hamden.
Yes, my day job is I'm the zoning enforcement officer for the town of Hamden. I've been with the town for 17 years. Hamden's my hometown. I am sort of a local activist, as what brings me here.
Yeah.
And so that's me. So I'm very involved in the community and I care about what happens in the community.
So let's talk about what's going on with the station and how it all began.
Okay, so Quinnipiac brought a new president on, I think it was last summer.
I believe so.
And she started implementing some new decisions this year with a new plan that the university had, and one of those decisions was to close WQUN. Okay. And it was just a huge shock to anybody in Hamden or anybody in the vicinity of listening. It was a shock to everyone. And I have a true passion for radio because initially when I went to school, I was an undergrad and I was a communications major. I worked in college radio, I worked in local radio, and I understand the importance that community radio has. It's kind of bridges the gap between folks. It's kind of the place where everybody goes to get all their information, where people leave their politics at the door unless they're having a specific debate.
Right.
And even more specifically, last year Hamden had a pretty bad tornado
Right.
that caused a lot of devastation, and that was the one place people can go to get the information they need emergency-wise.
Oh yeah.
So it's an important communication tool for the town, and it's important for town-gown relations. So everybody was so devastated, and folks were, calling, reaching out, and nobody knew what to do. And I was sitting on my couch one night, and I said, I'm going to start a petition. And I started the petition, and I had, a few signatures, and then all of a sudden I had all these signatures and all these people reaching out to me, including folks at Quinnipiac who work in the TV station there, the sister station, that's the radio station there, as well as the newspaper people, and yourself.
Wow.
So all these people were interested. People were reaching out, writing, all of that. Folks are really devastated about the news. So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. I actually remember the day that Ray Andreessen, who's their morning man and general manager, read the letter on the air during his morning show. He read the letter from the university. I was still home at the time. I almost dropped my coffee and spilt it all over the kitchen table.
Exactly.
I'm like, well, what just happened? So I emailed him. I'm like, did I hear you correctly? Let me know. And he got back to me instantaneously. He's like, yeah, you did. I'm like, and then I reached out to Greg Little, who's the morning news director and his co-host and cohort in crime. And I said the same thing to Greg. I'm like, is that letter that Ray just read on the air for real? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it's gonna, if it happens, it's gonna be a sad day for the community, because QUN is like they say, they're a community-based radio station.
Yeah.
They cover everything and anything going on in not only in and around the greater New Haven area, but they even cover stuff out here, because I've sent press releases to Ray about stuff going on out here, and Ray's had me on. And
yeah, you could access it online. I listen to it online sometimes.
I do too.
So if I'm out of area or out of state or something, I've tuned in. It's a true shame, because I had just visited the station shortly before that news hit, where we were promoting a Hampton Arts Commission event.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of a volunteer on the committee for one of the events that they were doing.
Sure.
And Pam Landry had me on the show. And it just, you know, what a great thing to be able to target specifically the people who you want to get the information about what's happening in their community. I know that some of the local business owners are devastated. Whitney Donut's one of them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they advertise on that station, and it's the very community that Quinnipiac sits in that shops at these stores. I mean, it's a town-gown relationship thing. That as well as you have local personalities, folks who are seasoned professionals who train interns who are coming up in the industry.
Right.
You know, they get to see the real inner workings of a radio station, not just this, you know, a simulated thing or just, you know, playing on equipment. I mean, they get to actually see what a real community radio station's about, as well as the importance that in the communities it connects, the business owners, the town officials. When the fire marshal wants to get a special announcement out, he can get it specifically to the people that need to hear it. And all those folks include Quinnipiac students who reside in the town of Hamden, who don't really know the community, and it's a good way for them to get to know the community.
As a matter of fact, the Greg Little, who does the local community affairs show, which is Reporter at Large, had Kurt Lang on with him not long ago. And that was I actually listened to that interview on a Saturday morning. It's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it gives the mayor an opportunity to talk specifically. I know that the radio station covers North Haven as well, Cheshire.
Yeah.
You know, it gives all those communities a place to kind of intersect in a really nice way.
Exactly. I understand there's a petition.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, the petition. It's Care2 petition site, website. It's just called Save WQUN.
Okay.
And it just gives folks the opportunity to log on, sign their names, and share with all their friends. I started a Facebook page called Save WQUN.
Okay.
And there I've been posting all of the press that we've been getting. I've been posting the information about the petition, and there's been several letters to the editors written. Most recently, the New Haven Register had quite the feature from Randall Beach, which was really, really great. And I got a letter from the state delegation from Hamden. So the representatives, Robin Porter, Josh Elliott, Mike D'Agostino, they reached out to the university president as well. So I have 969 names on the petition so far. And we also have some paper petitions circulating at Whitney Donut, Kelly's Cone Connection, and Cakeworks. So.
Wow.
Yeah, because the business community is really, really upset, and they want to do whatever they can to help.
I was going to say, how are things going so far to this day?
Well, the unfortunate thing is that the university president and her public affairs person has not been very responsive to folks reaching out. I know that folks have been sending letters to her, emails, they've been calling her, and they continue to get the same response that basically was in the news release initially when they decided to close the station. Right. It's just been the same kind of recycled message as to why they're closing it. And some of those facts they're not facts. The radio station WQAQ, which is 100% student run, they've had an expansion in their radio shows. They've grown significantly over the past several years. So to say that there's not a student interest in radio is just not facts. It's not a factual statement.
Right.
And WQUN, they have 4 student interns currently.
Yes.
So the university president stated that only 1 to 2 interns in the past couple of years. So that is not a fact if there's 4 interns there right now. So we're not quite understanding what the internal politics may be that are happening at Quinnipiac University. We're just very sad. It just saddens me to think that a decision might be made without stating the true facts, and that would just sever the ties with the community this way. And it's with not much explanation behind it.
Exactly. Now, when is this all scheduled to happen?
Well, the station itself is scheduled to go dark on May 31st, and then June 30th will be when they basically close their doors. But the other sad thing is that Quinnipiac likes to present themselves as being such a huge employer for the town.
Right.
But they're eliminating these positions of the folks that have been there for a really, really long time, who have built this community. So to see those folks, seasoned professionals who have showed up every day, be faced with losing their job, that's just another thing to be sad about, I think.
Exactly. I actually saw something on your petition. Someone who signed your petition is very vocal, is Lou Nescott.
Yes.
I actually had Lou on with me back in the spring of last year after he got done climbing Mount Kilimanjaro for the Sarah Foundation.
Yeah.
And I talked to Lou right after the announcement came through. I'm like, are you? And he emailed me. He's like, did you hear? I'm like, yeah. He's like, sad day. I'm like, yeah.
He's another one who's been very active, and he's been helping me spread the word on the petition, and he wrote a really great letter to the editor.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, and he's been working a lot with me behind the scenes just to continue to spread the message and to reach out to the university and to even see if we can try to explore other avenues to save it. I know that the Hamden Chamber folks are devastated, the Cheshire Chamber folks are devastated, because that's how their businesses promote, and they have their shows. I mean, they have folks on every week.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that they were trying to explore ways to see if there was some private entity that would come in to try to save the station. But so far, we're sort of still kind of stuck in we don't have a solution at this point, and not any real response from the university. So we're all sad, but we're not quitting.
No, definitely not. Would you mind sticking around for another second?
Sure.
We'll be right back.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Holly Masi from who's an activist for Save WQUN Radio. Holly, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem. So we were talking a little bit about during the first segment what's going on and what Quinnipiac University is trying to do to basically have WQUN Radio go dark as of June 30th of this year.
Yeah.
June 1st of this year, rather.
Right.
And let's open up this segment talking about as far as the petition, and people want to sign the petition, and the letter writing campaign, and all that other important information.
Yes, I would definitely encourage folks, continue to sign the petition, continue to have your voices be heard. There's a website of Care to Petitions. That's where the petition resides.
Right.
And you can click on there. Please share it with your friends, send emails. I have a link to the petition on the Save WQUN Facebook page. But on top of that, I encourage people to call the university president directly, flood them with phone calls, ask them for an answer, ask them for answers, and also write letters, send emails. All that information is available on Quinnipiac's website anyway. You can just go there and get the email address for the president, or you can get a phone number. You could talk to the public affairs person, who's Lynn Bushnell, and continue to let your voice be heard. I think silencing a communications piece for any reason is just not a good idea. Why would you want to silence such a strong community voice? It seems like such a valuable asset that I just don't understand why they would just throw it away, as well as throw away such a strong team of folks
Exactly.
that really make it work.
Oh yeah,
It's super established, and they have wonderful chemistry, and it's just a nice synergy of neighborhood, community, leaders. I mean, I can't say enough about it. I just get sad whenever I start talking about it.
I know. As a matter of fact, in one of the projects that I'm working on, I actually talked to Brian Smith via an email the other day, and he's like, so your event is coming up? I'm like, yeah. He's like, the day before the event, call me. He's like, we'll do a 10, 15-minute interview on the event. He's like, I'd love to have you on the air with me. I'm like, he's like, I know normally you're in the morning with Ray or with Greg, or he's like, but call me. He's like, call me the afternoon before, and he's like, I'll get you on the air with me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that sounds.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing I mean. You have a community event of some kind, or you have just a resident in town, say,
Right.
or even just the university kids themselves. They may
Right.
have something going on. They'll have them on to promote their event and get the word out to the people who need to hear it,
Yeah.
as opposed to putting it in a newspaper that has a broader reach or television. At least you can get the folks in your neighborhood. I had a good friend of mine who started a knitting club in Hamden, and he wanted to help out kids who were interested in knitting.
Okay.
And Pam had him on the show to promote it because it was specifically for a Hamden thing. The Hamden Chamber, they promote all of their events
Yep.
that way. They offer a weekly sponsorship.
Yeah, they're
So,
on with Ray
with
on
Friday morning
Friday
marketplace.
morning. I was going to say Friday morning.
Friday morning marketplace.
Yeah.
You know, and these are just. I just don't understand the university's reasoning behind cutting off ties to the community, because they also did that with the announcement of cutting the funding for the Irish Museum. And
Yep.
these are two of the most community-based things that the university offers. And the university resides in Hamden.
Right.
So I'm thinking, why would you want to cut off your ties to the community?
Hold on a second. You just said something very interesting. The university wants to cut ties with the Irish Museum as well.
Well, what they want to do
What
is
do
they
they
want
wanna
them
do?
to become self-funded by next year, by 2020. So they're giving them a year to fund themselves.
How are they funded now? Are they a
They're
nonprofit?
they're through the university.
I was
So
gonna
now
say-
they'll have to start fundraising. They'll have to, get their word out.
I was going to say I've heard of the museum. I've never been.
It's beautiful.
Is it?
It's
I've heard-
absolutely beautiful.
I've heard of the museum. Because I listen to QN in the morning, and once or twice an hour they do the Ireland Great Hunger Museum commercial, and
Yeah.
it's like,
And I can't confirm this, but State Representative Josh Elliott posted on his page that he thought that they were looking to close the polling station. But I can't confirm that.
wow.
But it's certainly telling that the things that are most community-driven and community-directed are the things that they seem to be pulling back from. And while I can understand their need to focus on students, I was a student, and I was a communications major, and I was very much interested in radio, and I understood the importance. And the relationships I developed when I was an intern as a student, they're still with me to this day, which is why I'm so passionate about this project and being active in trying to save the university, its radio station.
Yeah.
So again, it's just a mystery to all of us, because Quinnipiac still states the same reason, which is lack of student interest, and that just doesn't make sense when students seem to be very interested in the radio.
Now, when you reach out to someone from the university, will they actually listen to
What you
you?
basically get is just sort of what seems like a very scripted
Yeah.
response back. So, kind of like the same scripted press release comes back,
Yep.
just, with a different title, because I have friends who have emailed and have shared with me the response, and it's the same scripted response. So,
Wow.
so it's just sad. I just wish that we had a more, what would feel like a more genuine answer.
Exactly. Now, during this whole thing, how implemental is Lou Nescott?
He's been very much like
He's a good guy.
yeah, he's been advising me a lot. helping me write things and helping me with the promotion of things. And we've been sharing a lot of mutual contacts. So he's just been really great in terms of, he's helping me to promote Facebook ads for the petition and things like that. So, you know, he's got a lot of experience and wisdom to offer with his background and experience. So he's been incredible. And Lou and I had never met before. So, so we bonded through this experience, and I'm forever grateful that we came together to collaborate on this effort because I've learned an awful lot in a short period of time from him.
Have you never met him to this day?
No, still never met him face to face.
Great guy. Great guy.
I get that sense already. We chat. We've chatted on the phone, and we've gone, you know, messaging and things like that. But he's stationed in Washington D.C. on a private assignment right now. So so it's made it hard for us to actually meet in person. But his wisdom and experience and knowledge has been very, very much appreciated.
Yeah, lose it. Yeah. I like I said to you off camera before, I actually had Lou on with me last spring when he did because he did a fundraiser for the Sarah Foundation, where he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
That's amazing.
And planted, once he got to the top of the mountain, he had a Sarah flag. And he basically propped the Sarah flag on the top of Mount Kilimanjaro.
That's amazing.
And
I hope to be able to have him share his experience with me.
I was going to say, I've heard the story. As a matter of fact, the reason that I had Lou on with me is because I was talking to Ray Andrewson I was talking to Ray at QUN, and we were just going back and forth about something. And he said to me, he's like, "I've got a good guest for you." I'm like, "Who do you got?" He was like, "Lou Nescott." He's like, he's an adjunct professor for the University for Quinnipiac, and he's about to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. So I reached out to him. He got right back to me. He's like, "Let's talk after I get back." He's like, "Would love to do it." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And while he was doing again, sense of community. Well, while he was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and Ray was on the air every morning at QUN, he would give an update as far as what he was getting from Lou. He's 3/4 of the way up Mount Kilimanjaro. The temperature is 32 below zero, and it's snowing, or whatever the weather report happened to be that day.
That's the kind of stuff that you don't really. That's why I'm so sad. Another reason why I'm so sad.
Yeah.
You don't get that kind of reporting. You don't get this kind of real personal feel from syndicated radio. That's kind of the same show no matter what town you drive through. You know, with a station like WQUN, and that. You know, there's other colleges that have that. Other colleges, and they value the radio station and what it provides because of the unique quality of it. And it's very, very appealing to folks. I would even say that I don't have children myself, but if I had children, that would be something I would look at if they were going to college.
Right.
You know, that sense of that community radio station. You even see it featured on when they show TV shows. You know, the kids either want to work at the TV station or the radio station.
Exactly.
You know, it's like it doesn't matter if that's not the career they choose. The skills that they learn are invaluable skills.
Absolutely.
You know, the interaction with folks, the community, the writing skills that you need. You know, how to coordinate and collaborate with people. There's nothing else like that.
Exactly. So we've got a little bit more time left. Let's talk about the petition and where people can go to sign the petition and get more information.
Okay, so the petition. Once again, the site for the petition is care2petitions.com, and it's Save WQUN.
All right.
I have a Save WQUN Facebook page, so I encourage folks to like that page and share it. The link to the petition is also there.
Okay.
Folks who happen to be going through the Hamden area, right on Whitney Avenue, we have 3 local businesses that are circulating paper petitions. One is Kelly's Cone Connection, which is right next to Glenwood Drive-In. So if you're getting a hot dog, swing over to Kelly's, get some ice cream, and sign the petition. And there's also Cake Works, which is a nice woman who makes phenomenal cakes to order.
I've heard about her.
Oh, she's amazing. Her name is Cindy. So you want to go there and sign it. Or Whitney Donut, which is,
There you go.
most people know Whitney Donut Shop, and she's been circulating the petition there. So.
Because I know Whitney Donut usually, they actually read as a live read for them every morning.
Yeah, there's been several promotions, and they're very, like I said, they're very upset about this decision.
Yeah, I can imagine. And like you said, back in the day when you were in the radio business, you actually worked with Pam Landry.
I worked with Pam Landry and I worked with Brian Smith.
Yeah.
They taught me so much, so many skills that to this day. I mean, years had gone by and I hadn't always seen them.
Yeah.
But social media helps us connect with folks, and I've followed their careers, and you can't ask for two more seasoned professionals than them, except for maybe Ray, who I'm fortunate enough to know through the town.
I was going to say, have you met Ray Andrewson?
Oh, Ray is amazing. Ray is like a legend in our community.
Yeah, Ray's awesome.
You know, so that combination of those three, to have them, the resource of having them in your community, I just can't understand when anybody would throw that away. And I can't say enough how sad I am.
Well, Holly Masi, I want to thank you for coming down, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
I want to thank you very much for having me. As you can see, I'm truly passionate about the subject.
Not a problem.
Right.
On behalf of Holly Masi, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next time.